entering that time of the year, and it's gonna be a little warm. There's gonna be some clouds up there today, but it's gonna be a little bit warm today. And just thought I would go live early in the morning. I don't think anybody else that I know in my circle of friends or acquaintances here on YouTube, I don't think anybody else is live right now. And so, welcome to come into the Colonels Chronicles, and I'll show you what I'm doing today or what I'm thinking about doing today. And, we'll just have a good morning. And I got my package. Oh, what in the world happened? Oh my goodness, my gimbal. Hold on now, folks. My gimbal's acting crazy. Yeah, okay. I don't know what I did on that one. That was kind of weird. But, hey, Brian, good morning, man. Good morning down there to my Australian friends. Appreciate you. Got my little Copica Blanca here. Man, I'm so thankful Gino drinks that. He turned me on to that, man. I said, he said it was good. I'm like, let me try that out. And I've been hooked on that stuff ever since I got it. And I used to make it even sweeter, put some condensed milk. I don't do that anymore because it's got enough sugar in it already. And I'm borderline diabetic anyhow. I don't want to get any more. But it's all good. So how are you guys doing? How you doing, Brian? He said it's not bad. That's good. Hey, Norm, another one of my Australian brothers and friends. Appreciate you. Good day, mate. Good morning. Appreciate it. Yeah, Brian, it's sweet, man. But I tell you what, it's good. I used to always drink. I grew up in the army, man. I drank straight black coffee for years. That's all I drank, even when I was working in the prison. Straight black coffee. And anyway, I was just like, I tried this stuff, and I was just like, wow, because I've been to Starbucks. And if y'all go to Starbucks, it's outrageous what they charge you there for their sugar drinks, and but somebody had me try the white chocolate mocha that they had, and I was just like, I was hooked on that. But then I found this stuff, this Copica Blanca. It tastes kind of the same, almost identical, for pesos on the peso, or whatever. I don't know. You might pay 220 for the large drink there at Starbucks. I'm paying what, 15, 19 pesos a packet for one of these. I mean, it's a game changer. I don't know, but Brian says it's going off sugar. Yeah, I've done that before, and that's actually a good thing. And I really should do it again, but it's hard to give up this drink. It's like, people that smoke, I understand addictions because I'm addicted to food. And, but it's all good. Norm says, back in a second, need to swap my phone to my work PC. That's all good, Norm. You do what you got to do, brother. I just appreciate you stopping in. And those of you that are coming in here now, I just started this live stream and got my wild shirt on. Maybe it'll be a wild day today, but I don't think so. I haven't really decided. I'm going to open up some of this, more of what I got yesterday. I got my big package from Lazada yesterday, and all of my, yeah, I'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, it's all good now. I got a big package coming from Manila, waiting on that. But that's going to take a little while because that's coming on the row. But yeah, well, Starbucks is not very good coffee in my opinion. No, it's not. I mean, the in the U.S. Now, I didn't go to Starbucks in the U.S. because I didn't like their politics. That was just me in the U.S. But I mean, I always stopped by Dunkin' Donuts, or I made my own coffee. I had my Keurig machine. I missed that thing, but this Keurig, that'd get expensive too. But no, Starbucks, the coffee's not great, but it's their foo-foo drinks that people go in there for. It's not because they have such great coffee. It's the other drinks that they have that, and it's all. And I got one time, and it's just like, it was all like syrup and whatnot. I was just like, it's really not that great. But I like the white chocolate mocha, so I went in there for that. But if you go over to Bo's Coffee here in the Philippines, Bo's, B-O apostrophe S, now they have a similar drink. It's their white chocolate mocha, or they call it white mocha, whatever it's called. But it's a lot stronger coffee flavor. But it still gets the same as that white chocolate mocha flavor too. But you can taste more of the coffee coming through. Starbucks is just all sugar and whatnot. And it is what it is, And each to their own. But I decide I don't I don't need to spend 220 pesos every day to go to Starbucks to get that liquid sugar when I can get it right here at my house. you for what 1/10 that I mean for whatever it is. Uh, yeah, 1/10 of the cost, something like that, somewhere around that. It's all good. Brian says, yeah, well, Starbucks is, yeah, okay, I read that already, my bad. Uh, I'm using monk fruit instead. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I don't even know what monk fruit is, man. I never had that, I don't think. Got a lot of things. Hey, good morning, Chappie. Hey, Chappie says, hello, Colonel. Appreciate you stopping in and appreciate you being here. I think I'm the only one live right now. I'm kind of waiting to hear from Bellis Traveler and waiting to hear from James and Karen to see if they made it last night or last evening. They were getting on the boat last evening to head over there to Plumpon on the Leyte. And I talked to Bellis a little bit, asked them if they were. Well, I called Bellis first. Like, did they get there yet? Because I'm, concerned about their safety and whatnot. And James loves riding everywhere on that motorbike, but he's still an inexperienced rider. But he's getting better. He's learning and whatnot. But fortunately, hasn't had anything real serious happen to him yet, and I hope that never does occur. But it's inevitable when you're riding on two wheels, man. It's every day. You're in the Lord's hands every day on that. Because I do it. I do it every day. But I've been riding for years, folks. So there's an experience factor in there too. It doesn't mean that you can't go down. Because I went down. I went down in their mud hole, that road going to their house. Yeah, that's crazy. Did you ever check out the coffee place in Iloilo? I haven't been to that one yet, Brian. I wrote it down. Where's my papers at? Tell me the name again, Brian. Sunshine? No, that was Boracay. Tell me the name again, brother. I'm going to write it down again. Because I don't know what I did with my little papers. Monk fruit is natural sweetener, no calories. Oh, okay. Is that like, what's that other one? Agave or whatever. Stevia and all that other stuff. Making dinner, listening while I make dinner. All right, Chappie, I appreciate that, man. I just woke up a little while ago, guys. I had to put the garbage out, the rubbish for you British type people. I don't know what do Australians call trash? Call it rubbish too. But anyway, tongue tacos, homemade avocado salsa. Man, Chappie, you living high on the hog, man. I don't know how I feel about tongue tacos, and I'm not a big fan of avocados, so I'm a little strange on that. But hey, if you like that, man, you go for it. It sounds like fancy to me. That sounds like you making something fancy to eat. Now, Brian, why don't I remember that? I don't remember that name. That's not one of the ones I wrote down before. Madge Cafe. Let me write that down, folks. Give me a second, and let me write that down. Madge Cafe. I'll have to look that up. Elo. Yeah, I'll look that up and maybe I'll check that out. Hi, Panay Hart from California. I think I friended you on Facebook there, Panay Hart. She said, hi, Colonel. Appreciate it. I tell you what, she posted a video where her husband found some so it looked like curly maple to me. They found some maple at the big box store. It had some nice figure in it, and there's different names for that type of figure too. Because I'm a woodworker too, or I used to be a woodworker. I'd still like to think I am. I just don't do much of it anymore. But I used to love building stuff. I mean, I've built some big cabinets and a hutch and tables, and I've built all kinds of stuff with wood. And I did a built-in computer station, shelving units at my house in Pennsylvania when I lived up there, and I always loved working with wood. And I saw what he had. I mean, that's some good-looking maple. Find maple like that in a big box store, you don't see that. You don't see that a lot, or super expensive. But happy to have you here, there, Jackie Panay Hart. That's great. Sounds nice, Chappie. Brian says, well, yeah, it's not. It's not down my. The tacos will be all right. I don't know about tongue. I don't think I've ever eaten tongue. I don't know. If I have, I didn't know about it. Yes, thank you for accepting me. No problem. I I had to go look to see who it was. I had to look in the, then I saw your photo. I said, okay, that's Panay Heart. Okay. And, yes, maple wood. I didn't know about it, but he is teaching me. It's hard for a woman, especially for Filipino, to understand these American men's skills sometimes. Well, every man's different in the U.S. and some of not all men in the U.S. can do woodworking. That's an acquired skill, and my biological father was a carpenter, but I didn't even know that I had woodworking skills or was really enjoyed it till I was in the army. I went to the craft shop. They had a wood shop at Fort Hood, big thing. And if you went in there and took their safety course, they gave you 10 sheets of plywood to do with whatever you wanted. And they had wood planed. They had everything in there. I don't think they had a wood lathe though. But anyway, I built something. I think the first thing I built was it a dog house? No, I want to build a dog house in Texas because we didn't have a dog there. But I built something. I don't know. The first thing I know what it was. My mom had an old wooden, like, foot locker, and it was an old box, a crate, actually, from the Sleigh Maker Lock Company in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And she had painted it, or somebody had painted it. My first wood project was stripping that down and refinishing that box. And I refinished and repaired some, and it turned out beautiful. I was like, you know what? I enjoyed that. And maybe I got a knack for woodworking. I took the safety course. Sure enough, I got into it, man. And I love building things out of wood. It's just not as much available here in the Philippines. Thailand, same, wasn't much. Now, when I got the wood lathe in Thailand now, I had access to a lot of mango trees and stuff. And if you get the manga, I say manga in Tagalog, but mango tree wood, if you get it before those big caterpillar worms, there's like they look like grub worms, but they got real sharp teeth in the front. And they bore a hole about a quarter inch, a quarter inch to what, 3/8 inch bore into that wood. If you can get it before they get to it, you can get some really pretty stuff. And matter of fact, give me a second to show you something. I gave away most of my stuff, but I've had this. This is like I only have a couple things left. This is the one thing I have left. I made this on the wood lathe. That, believe it or not, that's out of mango wood, and the Colonel made that. Made that myself. There's some of the waxes hardening up there, but that's where I keep my sewing stuff, like for upholstery and whatnot. But it's a round box. I made that on the wood lathe in Thailand, and yeah, and it's a pressure fit on there, and put a little handle on it. But isn't that beautiful? That wood. That's wood. Talk about figure, Panay Heart. Call your husband over. Have him look at this. Look at the grain on that. Look at the wood grain on that. All right, that's from a mango tree. And I actually want to say that was from a crotch in the mango tree where the branch goes into the trunk. But yeah, and the stuff with the mangoes, sometimes you get a lot of spalting, and your husband will know what that is. But you get a lot of spalting sometimes in the mango trees and stuff. It's pretty interesting. And but yeah, I've kept that. That's the one thing I kept. But I gave most of my other stuff. I made goblets and stuff like that with the wood lathe. So I'm a man of multiple talents. I don't know if it's talented, but multiple interests. I'll do it that way. I'm not going to say talents. But yeah. Hold on, I got back up here. The chat got ahead of me. Here we go. Let me get. Hold on now. I'm way behind. Okay, Chappie says, it's good stuff. Brian Neighbors butchered 3 steers and gave us the tongue, heart, and liver. I tell you what, Chappie, I'm glad that's good stuff for you, man, but I don't eat any of that stuff. I'll eat the beef, but I'm not into the tongue, heart, or the liver. No thanks. Never cared for liver. My mom made us eat it, but I hate it. I used to I'd sneak it to the dog under the table when I thought I could get away with it. Because we weren't allowed to leave the table till we ate everything on our plate. My mom, she was brutal about that. Nara is a beautiful wood. I don't know that wood, Brian. I'd like to. Hold on, let me write that down. I need to look that up too. Where's that native? What country is that native to? Australia? Let me write. Hold on, folks. I gotta write this down. Okay. Uh, Panay Hart says, "So glad that you are into woodworking. He would be happy to meet you in person for sure." Yeah, he and I would get along. We'd have a lot to talk about, and I'd love to see the stuff that he's made, or making or whatever. Because yeah, that woodworking, wood turning, all that stuff interests me. I wish I took more time to do it. I want to get a good quality lathe here in the Philippines, and it's going to be something that's going to have to be shipped here. Lazada just doesn't have the quality that I want. I want a good, Rikon, however you want to say it, a good Rikon lathe or something of that quality. You know, Powermatic would be nice, but they're super expensive. Excuse me. Brian says, we used to kill once a week, but I used to go for ribbons and steak myself. Right, rib bones and steak myself. I don't know what I'm reading there. Panay, yes, he told me about the mango tree too. Oh, okay, so he knows about mango tree wood. And, that's awesome. He, hold on a second. He told me he will make a round box. Yeah, if you it does, so he has a wood lathe. Now I'm jealous, and I would hold on. I gotta move this table. I would love to have my. I had a Chinese made lathe. I had that in Thailand, and I left it behind. I made that box. I made this on it, and I made a bunch of other stuff, but the quality was just not there. And it was like I felt like I was fighting the lathe every time I used it. And you have a situation; it can be dangerous. And yeah, I had a mishap. My fingers disfigured because of that lathe. I got a I got a knot right there from, yeah, I made a mistake on that lathe. And if you make a mistake on a wood lathe, more than likely you're going to pay for it. Because those things, it can be dangerous if you're not careful. Especially if your chisels aren't kept very, very sharp, razor's edge. Um, Joe Schmo, nice, that's cool. Thanks, Joe. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the chat. Appreciate you being here. Wow, 5 thumbs up already. 8 people hanging out. That's very cool. It'll grow as time goes on, I hope. Uh, where are we at? Yeah. Norm says, oh, Norm's back. Okay. Had to make a coffee. Yes, I made my coffee before I started because I knew I'd want something. And Brian said, very nice. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it. Chappie says, I take the heart and the tongue and make burrito tacos out of it. So tasty. I don't know, Chad. I'd have to try it, man. I can't comment because I don't eat it. But if you say it's good, man, I guess it's good. Panay Hart. Yes, he saw. Okay, good. Thanks. He told me it looks like a burl. Well, yeah, and it actually wasn't a burl. It looks like one. It really does, but it actually wasn't. This is actually just if you. This was actually the crotch where the branch was going in. Because you can do a lot of things and you can get a lot of good figure, a lot of good grain patterns and stuff out of the wood if you know what part of the tree to take it from. But yeah, I would love to have some burls now. I would a nice big burl put on the lathe, make a bolt. Yeah, that would be awesome. But yeah, it looks like one. Their Panay Hart husband. It looks like one, but it's not. Uh, but yeah, it's interesting. But that's mango tree wood. You never know what you're going to get with that stuff. But the wood I really wanted in Thailand, I couldn't get. I wanted some jackfruit wood because it's like a. Now I'm colorblind now, but they say it's like an orangish red color, reddish orange, the wood, and it's just beautiful. And I would love to have gotten some lumber. I wanted to make a table out of that because it would have been beautiful. And I had a jackfruit tree, but I was renting the house, so I couldn't cut it down, so it wasn't really mine. Got a lot of fruit off it. I ate so much jackfruit. I'm sick of it now. Like I can eat it, but it's like I don't want it. I don't like. Oh wow, jackfruit. Yeah, let's buy some. Nah, I ate too much of it. I don't care. I mean, I still like. I mean, it still tastes good, but I'm not. I'm not begging for it anymore. Uh, my husband won't eat heart. I think that's won't eat heart too, or won't eat hut. Okay, we'll just let that go. Hey, off. Oh, is it offline? What? What happened, Norm? I'm hate. I can't read what that says. Help me out, Norm. I can't get that. Uh, Panay says, I mean guts, but Filipinos, yeah. I'm not eating the chicken intestines and all. I did that in Thailand once. I won't ever do it. It tasted like dirt to me. I won't do it again. Nara is a national tree of the Philippines. Really? I'm gonna have to look into that. I'll have to look into it. Maybe that's what my tables are made out of. I don't know. I just bought the wood they had at the hardware store. And if you work on it, you can make it look beautiful. My one tabletop is beautiful, and it's just that from the cheap wood I bought at the hardware store here in the Philippines. Where are we at? Brian says, yeah, Nara is Philippines hardwood. Okay, I never heard it called that before. I believe I know what you're talking about. I just never heard that name before. Um, let's see. All that really nice car furniture is usually Nara. Okay, all right, now I know what you're talking about then. Yeah, in Thai they have that wood in Thailand, but they call it something different, and I can't remember what they call it, which it really doesn't matter. They just same wood, different name. My husband said Taiwan or China makes lathe. Well, they do, um, but unless it's the American company or whatever, there in China, the quality just isn't there. If you get a Manche or whatever from China, which is what Lazada sells and stuff, it's just it's thin metal. The frame, if to get a good lathe, it needs to be heavy duty, and but yeah, Taiwan would be all right. But it's finding the right one and being able to get it shipped here, and how much is the customs, the duty going to cost you? That's really what it comes down to. Because I could probably go on to Amazon and get one from the U.S., but I got to pay for that massive thousands of dollars of shipping. But if I had my own house, which I'm not even close to being in that situation. I don't even have a girlfriend right now, folks. So I'm still in the dating mode. And until I get in that situation where I have my own place, it's hard pressed to get a, because when you get a lathe that heavy, then you got to move it everywhere you go. And I have too much stuff already, folks. I just got too much stuff. It is what it is. But yeah, eventually I'd like to get back to that. Panay Hart says most of his woodworking tools are made from China. Oh, he has a lathe, bandsaw, table saw, scroll saw, lots of carving tools. Yeah, the only thing that he had there that I didn't, well, I've had in the past, but I didn't have in Thailand. I didn't have a bandsaw, but I had a lathe, had a massive table saw I bought from a shipping company in Bangkok, where they were importing tools. But even that, the quality just wasn't. Now it was heavy duty now, 3 horsepower motor and all, but it just the quality wasn't there. I was always tweaking it to get it lined up, and it just, I've had scroll saw several times. Um, yeah, that's awesome. He and I have a lot in common. Um, Norm said we did wood turning in high school. There you go, Norm. I'm glad they still teach that kind of stuff in school. All right. He has handheld CNC. Oh, there you go. I never had a CNC. They always intrigued me, but never had one. Uh, Norm can be into woodworking. Yeah. Okay, he knows. Yeah, he knows the crotch of the tree. Yeah, he knows what I'm talking about. Where it's the Y, the Y, and you have tree branches, and you have a Y. Okay, it's this part, and he knows that. He knows what I'm talking about. So if you cut that the wrong way and you place it in the lathe the right way, you can get interesting grain patterns and stuff. But a lot of this is just mango when the branches go. You get all kinds of different colors, and you just got to get the mango wood, and you're gonna end up working it while it's green. If you let it sit to dry and whatnot, the bug infestation is so quick, especially in Thailand, and I imagine it's the same here. And once those boring worms get in, those grubs or whatever, they look like grub worms, but they're not. They're real hard. The skin on them are real hard too. I tried to use them for fishing, but the fish they didn't want to have nothing to do with them. But yeah, they'll put a hole. They'll put a hole in. Remember the fat pencils we used to get in school? That's about the size of the hole that those worms will put into that mango wood. And then, if you turn in a bowl or a goblet, you don't want to have a big hole in it. Now there are ways around it, and I got a few tricks of the trade, and your husband probably does too. And if he and I were talking, he'd be like, "Yeah, I do that too." And But yeah, I was making chess pieces. I was making goblets. I made some really nice goblets. Turned out really nice. And I was using the, what is it, the acacia wood. They call it the blackboard tree, which is super white. It's super white wood, but it's really hard. And once it's dried up and everything, and I actually wonder, I made a mallet on the lathe with it, a wood mallet, and made some plates, bowls with that wood, and really easy to work with. But when it's dries and you get it smooth, it's super smooth, and I enjoyed it. The bad part is, in the center of it has a hole down the center because it's actually not a hardwood tree, but the wood when it dries out, it's super hard. But it's got like that spongy material down the center of the tree. So you gotta have a thick enough one where you can section it off to make a bowl or whatever. Let's see. My husband is from Panay Hartsdale. My husband said part of the class they make ukulele out of mango tree. Okay, there you go. I did not know that. There's a lot of acacia tree in the Philippines. Yeah, they grow very quickly. Had them a lot in Thailand, and that's I got a lot of my wood for. I would get wood for free whenever somebody's cutting down a tree or whatever. I'm like, what are you doing with that wood, or you need to get rid of it? I'll take. Can I have it? And sometimes they say it's spoken for already, or other times they would just, yeah, go ahead, you can take it, and because it helps them out getting rid of it. Vaughn, hey Vaughn, haven't seen you in a while there, man. Good to see you, Vaughn. The Chronicles of the Colonel continues. Hello, Miss Jackie and the Chroniclettes. Come on now, man. That's funny though, Vaughn. How are you doing there, brother? Chappie says, I picked up some African ironwood at a garage sale. That stuff is tough. Wish I knew someone who could do something with it. I tell you what, I bet that would work nice on the lathe as long as you got really sharp chisels or whatnot. That would probably make some really nice goblets or bowls. Yeah, that would be cool. I had this wood back in the day, uh, early in my marriage in America when my wife at the time, my ex-wife now, her mother remarried and she married this guy. He was one of the top breeders in the U.S. for West Highland White Terriers. Now he's passed away many years ago, but he had a farm, and he had this huge barn on the back towards the hill where his pasture was for his cattle. He had a barn up there, and I was in that barn one day looking. I was looking up in the rafters, and there was some lumber that was up in the rafters. Been up there for decades, probably. Bird poop all over it, dust and everything. But I pulled it down, and I cleaned it up, and I ran it through the planer. It's beautiful, dark red, deep red colored wood. Look a lot like oak, some type of oak, and didn't know what it was, but talked to some Amish because there are a lot of Amish around there, and they're like, yeah, that's what we call iron. They call that ironwood, iron oak, or ironwood. Super super dense, very very hard, but man, it was beautiful. And I made some stuff with that. I actually made some cutting boards with it too, with different types of wood stacked together, and yeah, it was beautiful. But and it was who knows, it's probably 100 years old. That farm, that barn, been there for at least 100 years, probably. And it had been just sitting up there, drying up there in the rafters. And they were probably using it to hang stuff from or whatever. But it was a wide piece of wood, and you knew it was old lumber because the tree was so wide that it was cut from. And yeah, I did stuff with that for years because there was so much of it, and he let me have it for free. He also cut down some red oak trees, and I took that. We got that. I think we got that kiln dried, the oak, and but he gave me the oak for free too. Really, just a nice man. John was very nice, and he gave me that red oak, and I made a lot of stuff out of the red oak, and then I got some green ash one time, which I took that to the kiln, and it's actually a company there. They made billiard tables and stuff, and they had their own kiln. And this guy, no, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. The guy, I went to this farm. He had all kinds of lumber cut, but it was green lumber. But he also had a kiln. So I got to look through his wood, and I picked out what I want, and I picked out all this green ash. And I had a farmhouse at the time, and I took that green ash to a company that made billiard tables. They tongue and grooved all of it. They planed it all down for me, tongue and grooved all. I bought a lot, And what I did is I put down, I made it into flooring in that farmhouse. I had this beautiful green ash, and green ash is like a white ash color, the wood, but it has purple hues going through it and different colors. Just beautiful. But anyway, I don't know how I got off on that story, but it's all good. Yeah. Oh, we were talking about the African ironwood. Yeah. Panay my husband said Nara is a type of mahogany. Okay, I know what it is. I know exactly what it is over here. Okay. Panay says, hi, Von Dormal. Brian says, yes, I believe so, Panay. And make your own lathe with a 2 to 3 horsepower electric motor pulling a belt. My husband said that. Yeah, you can do that, okay? But if it's homemade, I'm not going to have the tolerances, the exact. I'm a perfectionist, and I'm not a machinist, so it won't have the tolerances for the stuff that I want to do with it. But just to get a straight up lathe, to round a piece of wood, yeah, you can home make a lathe, and they use homemade what's over here. But for the stuff that I like to do, I want a precision, more of a precise and a precision type lathe. Especially when you're coming the end stock and the tail stock. I can't remember some of my words. The tail stock, like the one I had from China, and you'd screw it, you'd put your bit on the end of there to hollow out something, because I've got Forstner bits and stuff, and to hollow it out, and it wobbled so much because there was so much play. It was just garbage, and that could be dangerous, and it also messes up your project. But I hear what he's saying. If he's that skilled, he's got more skills than I got. Now I have rigged up some stuff over the years. I'm not gonna lie. I have made my own stuff, but when it comes to what I want for a lathe, I'm not home making one. Brian says, but for perfume, not wood. Although I saw somewhere that wood is nice too. Okay. Man, hold on. You lost where? Oh, agar. Agar is one that is getting popular to grow. Okay. I'm not familiar with that either. I have to hold on. I got to write that one down too. Yeah, the thing about it, you go to a different country and you find out the wood. They're just using a different name for it. Brian says, yeah, agar. Am I saying that correctly? Agar, or is it agar? Agar sap sells for crazy prices. Okay, so you got to know how to tap that tree, I guess. Vaughn says, Colonel, do you prefer metric or standard? I'll tell you what, I've kind of converted to metric, because I lived in Thailand for 9.5 years, and I use both. I'm not going to lie, I use both. But I find that because metric is a smaller increments of measurement, it's easier to get exacting measurements and stuff, instead of, if you're looking at between 2/16 and you need a 32nd, so you're guessing in between and marking it. But yeah, I just got you, and being in Thailand, they use metric mostly, so I just got used to using it. And it's actually, I never thought I'd say this, because I used to hear people in the U.S. say, metric's easier, get out of here. But you know what it is? It is easier, because everything's in increments of 10, 100, it's just a whole lot easier. If you're cutting something in half, it's a whole lot easier, Sandalwood would be nice, but you need to get the right partner to have it be Paris. What? To have it be a parasite too. I don't think that's what you meant to say, but the smell of sandalwood's nice. Can make a wood kiln using the sun and windows. Okay. Your husband's very industrious. Go for it, brother. I'm not doing all that, but you go for it. I've actually gotten used with the lathe. I have gotten used to turning greenwood, and over here I didn't really have an issue with that. Now, if you got a wood that's super wet, especially if you're doing a bowl, and then as it dries out, it's going to warp. But you can pre-turn stuff. He knows that. You can pre-turn stuff, and then come back and slap it on the lathe. Don't finish it off. You can turn it green, and then go back and after you've taken away most of the waste, and then let it dry up and see what happens. Put it back on the lathe, and then finish it off. Norm, wood borers. Yeah, they get into the mango, man, really, really quick. Or are you talking about something else, Norm? You're talking about tools? He is typing and listening to you, Colonel. God bless him. He's definitely more talented than I am. But see, I haven't done I haven't done the really good woodworking that I used to do, just because I don't have access to the good lumber, and the good tools that I used to have. Now I do have I got a nice DeWalt wood lathe now, or not wood lathe. I'm sorry, wood planer, stationary planer, and it's not bad. You know, it's not the super heavy duty, but it does a good job. And it's loud as all get out, and my neighbors hate it when I fire that thing up. But Joe Schmo chess pieces would be really cool. They are, Joe. You know what? Hold on one second. Hold on, folks. I'll be right back. Since Joe mentioned that, I just happen to have kept something else that I made. Check that out, Joe Schmo. Yeah, Colonel made that on the lathe. And Panay Hart, your husband, can tell you this is actually super easy to make. Super, super easy to make. I mean, I probably made that in about 10 minutes. Maybe less. Maybe 5 minutes. Super easy to make. Um, but yeah, it was one of the first things I did on that lathe that I bought. And I made a lot of, you can make Christmas tree ornaments kind of like this same type of style, you know, and you hang them. But, you know, I had them narrow at both ends. But you can make Christmas tree ornaments out on the wood lathe to hang on your tree. And really nice. It's something different from the tree. Christmas tree ornaments on the lathe. Panay, your husband might have done that before. I don't know. But it's pretty cool. I saw somebody do it. I was like, that's really cool. And I'm like, Colonel can do that. I can do that too. So I did it. But like I said, I gave all that stuff. I gave all this stuff away when I left Thailand. Brian says metric is far better than imperial, in my opinion. We went metric in '74 when I was 10, and I wouldn't go back, even though I understand it. Yeah, it's just getting used to something different. When you grow up in America, you know you're using inches and quarter inch, half inch, you know, and stuff like that. And that's what you brought up doing, and that's what you're used to. But when you start, you know, I came over to Thailand. I started using metric, and I just kind of got used to it. And I was just like, man, you know what? It's actually better. I hate to say that because you know going against what every American would say because we always think we're the best at everything. But I tell you what, the metric, it's a whole lot easier, folks. It really is. I never thought I'd admit to that, but it is. Once you get used to it, from being an American, because you know we don't like to do foreign things, but once you get used to it, you realize, hey, they're onto something here. This is actually not a bad deal, you know. I mean, shoot, even when I'm looking at buying shoes now, I'm like, yeah, if it's not. Well, no, that's a bad example. Never mind. But there's Lowell. There's Lowell from Oregon. God bless. Thank you, Lowell. Good morning to you, or good evening, whatever it is over there in Oregon. I can't keep track of the time all the time. Chappie says, yeah, this African ironwood is almost black. So it's like ebony, sounds like. But, man, you know what that'd be good for? Musical instruments and things like that. I bet that's really good for musical instruments. Chappie says, they make high... See, he's ahead of me. I didn't even read that. They make high-end musical instruments out of the African ironwood, flutes and clarinet. Exactly. And all right, I'm going to tell on myself here. I played clarinet when I was in high school, junior high and high school. And, you know, all going to laugh, but I was very good. So, and I can actually still play. I don't have my clarinet anymore, but I had the wooden clarinet. I had a really good one. And believe it or not, at one time I was first chair. For those of you that are into musical stuff, it's very competitive though, very hard to keep that first chair. But at one time, yeah, the Colonel was a musician at one time. I played piano too. I still play piano, and I got I got my electric piano in there. I need to get it out of the box and make sure it's not, in there dry rotting and whatnot from the heat. But yeah, I have a nice Roland keyboard, full size, 88 keys, good sounding keyboard. I just haven't set it up in this house. But yeah, I'm musically inclined, along with my woodworking and multitude of other things. But I didn't have a choice. My parents, my mom, we lived in Germany. They made my brother and I both learn how to play the piano. They they got this piano up old upright or whatever, and we had to, and they got it. Our piano teacher was this older East German lady, Frau Richter. She was brutal. That lady, yeah, there was no excuse for her. If you weren't ready for the piano lessons, there was no excuse. She would leave. If you weren't playing up to her standard, she would leave. She said, I not waste my time. You not, what she said, she said like, this not important to you. So, because if I'm not important to you, you're not important to me, I leave now. It's just like, oh my God. But I was, I'm 10 years, 11 years old. I'm playing songs where I'm crossing my hands over playing stuff, Beethoven and Bach and Mozart and all this stuff. Yeah, it was crazy. I can't even touch that music now, what I used to play when I was a kid. But yeah, she was, and my parents were brutal about that. Practice an hour a day, no ifs, ands, or buts. It's just, whew. But because of that, I became very proficient at it. And I love music, and I enjoy playing music. Let's see. Vaughn says, I hear you, DeBrian. Just move into decimal point and metric. Yep. It's not just that. It's just easy to do a lot of things. And once you get, and I got to the point where I don't talk in square yards. I talk square meters now, or I talk a meter. I don't do a yard anymore. The yard, it just doesn't make any sense anymore to me. I do meters. Now I talk to people come over from the U.S. They're like, what's that in inch? Like, dude, don't worry about it, man. Just go with it. But I don't. Okay, and it's hard for me because I'm so used to it now. But I got to realize they're not used to it, and but it's just easier for me. Okay, square meter. It's just 100 by 100 centimeters. It's just easy. You know. But anyway, you got to get used to it. When you grow up one way and you're not used to it, you have to adjust, and it's all good. I got to have 10 people, 11 people in here. Need some more thumbs up, folks. Got to get this out there. I'm in the morning time slot right now. Usually Gino's on here. I don't know if he came on. I think this is his off day. I was hoping, and I just wanted to fill the void for those people that like to get on and watch Gino in the morning. I just thought I would come on here, and I'm not Gino by any means, because I'm definitely not as positive about everything as like he is, and I'm not suave like he is. I'm a little rough around the edges, although got a round head. But yeah, and the Colonel's the Colonel. Can I say I'm comfortable with who I am, though, folks? You know what I mean? As imperfect as I am, I'm comfortable with it. Because what choice do you have? I really don't have a choice. I got to be comfortable with who I am. Why go through life not being happy with who you are? Now, having said that, I've gone through my whole life not being happy with who I am, but I've learned to accept who I am. I never looked at myself as a handsome man. Never ever. Even though I come over here to the Philippines, oh, you're so handsome. Stop lying to me. Get away from me. Stop lying to me. But you learn to accept where you're at in life. And like I'm at the point now where all the family traits are starting to come back. All the wrinkles and everything. My 5 chins I got going on here. The chicken neck and all that. And it's just it's part of aging. It's just the way it is. Panahar, okay, sandalwood is a parasitic plant. Okay, I got you. Now I know what you're trying to say. Greenwood is the best to turn, just don't dry it out too quick. Now, Panahar, I know that you're just reiterating stuff your husband's saying to you. Am I wrong? But that's okay. We'll just pretend like you know about all that. That's coming from you. But he's exactly right. And, for drying out wood over here, because of the humidity, the wood does dry out slowly. And it actually helps because of the high humidity, depending where you're at. Hey, Bruce and Carol in the house. Hey there, Colonel. How have you been? As for us, just got our water system working after the ice melt. Oh, did you, did your pipes freeze up, Bruce? I hope not, because that could be a mess. Wow. I hope you get that sorted out, man. But I'm doing good. I woke up this morning. I woke up about 5 o'clock in the morning, and because I went to bed a little earlier than normal last night, and I just thought, hey, I'm just gonna get up, and I had to, take care of some chores around the house, and I didn't even get to what I was going to get to on this live stream, but anyway, yeah, I said I'm just going to live stream early because I thought Gina was taking the day off, and actually I want to know if James and Karen made it. I didn't message them yet because in case they were sleeping, and Bellis I didn't message him either in case he was sleeping because I got up so early, and but I'm just curious that they should have got in to Bellis's place about 4 or 5 in the morning. Um, this morning. So they should have just got there, but we'll wait and see. Maybe they'll go live. And I'm sure they'll go live fairly quickly, maybe after they get some rest. And but yeah, Bellis, he's going to do his reveal of what his extra thing he's got going on there at the farm, and the little plant that he's growing and whatnot, and they're going to do a lot of videos and show what he's doing. And I'm happy to say I put my little 2 cents in when I was there about what he was doing. Hopefully it helped him a little bit. And because I got some, I got some horticultural background too. When I was in the college, I spent a summer. That's all I did, working in greenhouses and stuff. And I worked on a big estate, and I had my own little area with all the different plants. And that's where I learned all my horticulture stuff. Because he had worked the guy who was running it. He went to school at Longwood Gardens. And for those of you that are in the U.S., you may have heard of Longwood Gardens. It's owned by the DuPont family. And they bring exotic plants from all over the world and whatnot in different places they've been. They grow them there in their greenhouses, and that's where he was trained. And then he was training us. I don't want to I'll get off on another tangent and lose track of what we're talking about. But man, I hope that works out, Bruce. I hope you didn't lose any pipes or anything. Norm says, I've had your playlist going for 24 hours now. Your watch hours should have gone up a little. Norm, I appreciate that, brother, man. I really do. The last 24-hour increment, because they're way behind on the studio. I only got 6 hours on that one day, so it must have been a day that I wasn't live streaming or doing something. Because I get lazy. I take a break sometimes too, but I appreciate that, man. I really do. I love it when I go in and it's gone up like 20 hours or 30 hours. That's pretty good. For me, I think the biggest jump I had was like 30 some hours one time, but I don't usually get more than that. But I'm working on that. I'm trying to go live more and do different things. And folks, if you watch me for a while or on my live stream, you'll see that I'm a man of so many varied interests. And that's one of my biggest problems in life is I've never just focused on one thing because I enjoy so many different things. And that might be part of why I left the U.S. and went to a foreign country, went to Southeast Asia, because I desired something different. I enjoy change, not all the time now. And I found as I'm getting older, I'm becoming more of a homebody. And even though I travel a lot, I like to go home. And even though maybe being at home 2 days later, I'm ready to go somewhere else. But when I'm away, I just want to go back home. But I have so many different interests. Yesterday I was showing the little Tamiya cars. This is something else I got into, talked about, I like woodworking. I like to do welding and working with steel now too. I like to work on cars. I like to work on motorbikes. There's just so much stuff that I like to do. And it's actually kind of a curse. It's better, I think, if you could just focus on one thing or one or two things as hobbies. I think you can do a lot more with that. But it's just not, we like to diagnose, it's the adult ADD. And yeah, I can use that as the excuse. But I just think I'm a very well-rounded person. I've had so many different experiences in life and been in different cultures and different places. And from doing that, you come in contact with different things. And some things interest you, some things don't. And that's just the way my life was. And it's just carried over into my adult life and whatnot. And try to share that with my children and stuff. And, it is what it is. But that's why I'm all over the place. I'll do a live stream. I'll talk about 20 different subjects. And I'll have knowledge about those different subjects because I've done it. And it's not bragging or anything. It's just, that's how crazy I am. I'm just crazy. And my mind is always going 1,000 miles an hour. And and I'm trying, and like if I see something, somebody's doing something, I'm looking at it critical, thinking like, how can we do that better? How can, is there an easier way? And I did learn something. If you want to learn how to do something the easiest way, like on a job site or whatever, go talk to your laziest worker and ask them if they had to do something, how they would do it. You're going to find out. You can probably find out the easiest way to get something done. Could be wrong on that, but that's what I've learned over the years. Talk to the lazy people because they already figured out how to try to get over and how to try to get the job done doing the least amount of work. Tell me if I'm wrong on that. Let's catch up on the chat here, folks. Sorry, get off of my little, go down my little rabbit trails and start talking about a whole different subject. But Norm, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. And anyone else that plays my videos, I know I don't have many really good videos on there, and just being humble, folks. I'm just honest. I need to work better at it to do better quality content. But those of you that are helping me get monetized, I appreciate that. I've always said I don't need it, and that's the truth. But I sure want to get it. You know, even though sometimes, isn't that the way it is? Sometimes we don't need something, but we still want it. You know, we still want to get it, or we still want to attain a certain rank, even though we don't need it. That's just human nature, I guess. Panay heard, wow, that's cool. Okay, ebony is also used for fretboards. Absolutely, yeah, it is. You and Bellis can jam together. I'm not on Bellis's level by any stretch of the imagination. He was a professional musician. I'm just a play-at-home musician. That's funny, but yeah, Bellis he's talented when it comes to music. And he can sing. I'm not going to say he's the best singer, but the man can sing. He's good. Hello, it's almost 5 p.m. here on Tuesday. You are 15 hours ahead of me. Okay. I'd see, I would always go by the East Coast, and usually East Coast, because you all still do daylight savings, which I think is a joke, but we don't do that over here. There's no reason to do it anymore. And but yeah, East Coast usually 12 or 11 hours, depending on daylight savings. And honestly, I used to keep track of it in Thailand. Over here, I don't keep track of it anymore. And actually, oh, it's different over here in the Philippines. I'm still thinking like Thailand. Oh well, whatever. I'm not worried about it. But thanks, Lowell. Appreciate that. And so you're not ready for bed yet, okay? No, I was first trumpet in our concert. See, I'm not the only band nerd out there, okay? I was first trumpet in our concert band and second trumpet in the jazz band. Oh, you were in the jazz band? Okay, you were special. Played at the Sydney Opera House lots of times, as well as for Prince Charles and Princess Diana when they visited. Wow, Norm. The Colonel's impressed, man. That's awesome. Now, my son played trumpet, but not at your level. That's impressive, Norm. So do you still play once in a while? Do you get it out and still toot a horn there once in a while? You ever play the trumpet volunteer? You know, I mean, yeah, that's good stuff, you know. That's awesome. So I thought I would say that, and I was going to get harassed by my Australian brothers down there harassing me for being a band nerd. But hey, they can't now because Norm's a band nerd too. That's great. So you were in the brass section. I was woodwinds. I could pretty much play any woodwind instrument. You know, and even if I was hard pressed, I could play an oboe if I had to, or a bassoon. Bassoon's a little bit harder because they've got the big double reeds. But any like saxophone, and I didn't just play B flat clarinet. I played the alto clarinet, which was the longer one. I made some sound with the bass clarinet, but I wasn't real crazy about that big reed, trying to make the sound with that. But the alto, I liked that because it sounded like a saxophone. And I always wanted to play the soprano clarinet or the little baby clarinet. I always wanted to play that one. I never did. Maybe I'll buy one someday and try it out. I don't know. But you got to be able to get the reeds and stuff. But my embouchure, Norm knows what an embouchure is. My embouchure, you know, is not what it used to be. But you know what? I can make some sounds on a trumpet too. Now I can play a trumpet, but I don't know the notes or anything. And I can't get you got the positioning to get the different notes. And but my brother played trombone and my son played trumpet. and I got him a Bach Stradivarius trumpet. It was pre-owned by a guy from the symphony. We found a shop where all the guys from the symphony, they would turn theirs, they would buy new instruments, they would turn in their old, they would trade in and whatnot, and then that shop would recondition, and that's what my son got. Man, it was a beautiful sounding trumpet, beautiful. Hello, Lowell. I'm in Oregon as well. Chappie says, yeah, you should go visit each other. Lowell says, I went to a new clinic to order my diabetic shoes and inserts earlier today. I see my cardiologist tomorrow and physical therapy on Thursday. Busy week for me. And then you're going to come over to the Philippines, Lowell. I'm confident. We'll see. I would love to see Lowell be able to get over here. I don't know if it's ever going to happen for him, but Lord blesses him, he might get over here. Wow, Norman is talented too. Yeah. Hey, Panay Hart, your husband's talented. I mean, it sounds to me like he's even more of a woodworker than I am. Or he sounds like the way I was back when I was in my 30s and 40s. When I came to Thailand, had to put a lot of that stuff behind me because the lumber just wasn't there for me. But over here in the Philippines now, well, no, I did that in Thailand too. I worked with the cocoa lumber, the coconut lumber. That's something else. If you can make something with coconut lumber, you're doing good. And I did. I made some tables out of it. You just gotta use a lot of polyurethane, build that stuff up. Otherwise, it catches and it splinters because the grain it's so open pored. Can you perform during expats meetup? My husband built his own ukulele. I'll let your husband do that. I'm bowing out for that one. I'll let your husband do that. I'd like to hear him on the ukulele. That's cool. I did try to self-teach myself on guitar, and I had a really nice Fender Stratocaster, Mexican Strat, and yeah, that's gone. That's in Thailand. Something I left behind because she begged me to let her keep it, and I've regretted it ever since. Because I had a real nice amp too. I had a Voss amp. Man, the amp was cool, man. That thing did so much different stuff. Yeah, I missed that. But now my youngest daughter, she self-taught her guitar, and she's extraordinary. Me, I struggle with it. I can get some tones out, but I struggle with the chords because, see that? My fingers are short, so I struggled with it. But I could play the clarinet. They were long enough to play the clarinet. And even if I had to, I can play a fife. I've played a fife before, actually. You can do a fife, and if I knew all the fingerings for all the notes, I could do a flute too if I had to. I always wanted to play the piccolo, but when I went to join the band down in Texas, they looked at it. They looked at the shape of your mouth, your tooth structure, everything, your finger, and the band they suggested the clarinet, and I'd never heard of a clarinet, but that's what I ended up doing. Lowell says, hello, Chappie. I am in Southern Oregon. Okay. Chappie, Willamette Valley myself, Lowell. I've been through Oregon, but I don't know where that is. Norm, Marissa always says I'm pogy, so I bought her new glasses. That's great. I love it, Norm. That's great, man. Look, just enjoy the fact that she's calling you pogy, okay? Just enjoy it, man. Don't change it. Don't try to change that. Don't try to change the Filipino. When I heard at home, he was typing those. Okay. Wait, I missed something. I have to go. I'll just let it go. Lowell, Chappie, that is where my family is from. They settled in Eugene in the mid-1800s. Okay. Well, look. He must have known we were talking about him. His brother Gino is in the house. Good morning, Colonel. Good morning, Gino. I hope I didn't think you were live streaming today, brother, so I came on here. I was waiting if somebody told me you were or not. But I hope you're doing well. It's a bright, sunshiny day down here in Iloilo. Hopefully it's sun shining up there in Calibo or Numancia, where you're at. And, man, I appreciate you stopping in, man. That's great. The morning's complete. Gino's here. That's great. Appreciate it. Chappie, my great-grandparents came from Switzerland when Hitler was causing ruckus. They settled in the Silverton, Oregon hills by Silver Falls State Park. Okay. They probably made a good decision. Good morning, Gino. God bless, brother, from Lowell. Absolutely. Good morning, Lowell, from Gino. Chappie says, hobbies are good. I have some classic cars I like to work on, Colonel. Fun day just in the shop all day. Yeah, and Chappie, I've done that too. I had a 1980, what was it, 1980 Camaro that I was working on when I lived in Georgia, trying to hot rod that thing out. And I had a blast doing that. I put, yeah, what the name of those mags I put on there? Starflight or, I don't know, those lightweight aluminum mags I put on there. And yeah, I had the hot rod tires and, yeah, 400 and, what was that, 400 and some horsepower? What did I do there? My finger got caught in the gimbal. And, yeah, that's cool. I like doing it too. I don't profess to be any great mechanic because I'm not. But if it's something that I feel like I can do myself, I prefer to do it myself. But now as I'm getting older and over here in the Philippines, I'm starting to get like, you know what? I'm just going to pay somebody to do that. Excuse me, I got to take a snack here. But Hart says, I think what I enjoy about vlogging, I met some new friends. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? Most of the people that are in here, I never met in person. Some I have. But I met you online here, and we talk and we chat, and we have a good time. We got some banter going on, and we learn things about each other. I think that's very cool. Now, I've met Gino in person, and what you see is what you get. What you see on the screen with Gino, that's what he's like in person. That doesn't mean that, he's always smiling, happy, positive. But that doesn't mean he doesn't have bad days sometimes, but I haven't experienced that. So anytime I look forward to anytime I get to spend with Gino and Dazzle and Angeli's, Dazzle's mom, that's a nice day for me. I just enjoy those folks, And when I go to Cleveland, and JP's there now, and he's fun to talk to. Well, he's an interesting man. He's got a wealth of knowledge in a totally different areas that I never messed with to the extent that he has. Now James has a little bit when it comes to firearms and stuff like that, but yeah, I just enjoy those folks going up there having. And I met William Roseboom up there. If he heard me talking about it and I didn't mention his name, he'd let me know. Hey, yeah, you met me too. But he's a good dude too from the Netherlands, and but yeah, appreciate that. And you're right, Pie Heart. That you meet new people, and we may never meet in person. I hope we do someday. I'd like to meet your husband, and just talk to him about. I know he's listening. I hope he's still listening. If he's not, ask him if he has a Lee dovetail jig, because I finally got one, and I've only used it once or twice because I just don't have the lumber over here. A friend of mine's got the same name as me, same first name as me. In Thailand, he sold me his. He finally parted with it, overcharged me, of course. Get him for that. But I wanted it so bad, I went ahead and bought it. And I just haven't, and now I'm mad at myself because I just haven't used it. I've got everything, but it's technical, and you got to take your time. You got to set it up just right and do. But once you get it set up and you got the right thickness of the wood, it's a beautiful jig. I wish I had one 30 years ago when I was really doing all my woodworking, making my boxes and cabinets and stuff like that. I really wanted those dovetails, and I wanted the precision of the Lee dovetail jig, the DR whatever 25 whatever it's called. But I still got it here, not using it. It's still wrapped up. I haven't unpacked it because I don't have a shop. I don't have a wood shop here or anywhere to work with it. Hi, brother Gino from Panay Heart. Gino says, hello, Panay Heart. Norm says, I haven't played in years, so would have lost my lip by now. Maybe I'll try again one day. I was in a choir as well. Norm, it'll come back to you, man. It's the same thing. I haven't played a clarinet in years. When was the last time I had? I had mine. Where did I have? Did I have mine in Thailand? I had mine in Thailand with me. Well, somewhere along the line, I sold it. Can't remember. I sold that to somebody. Wait, no. Maybe I sold that when I was in Georgia or Florida. I sold it to a girl. I remember I sold it to a girl. And because it was a good clarinet. Really good one. Um, it was made by a spin-off company, Buffet, but it was still good. It was still a good clarinet. It was a medium, you know. But I was getting into. I wanted to change the mouthpiece. I wanted to get more into jazz style clarinet, but never happened. But you'd get it back, Norm. You'd get your embouchure. It wouldn't take long. You get your embouchure back. It's like riding a bike, man. You know, you'd pick it right back up. And if you were as good as what you said you are, which I'm sure you were, and you played, yeah, you'd get it back real quick. You know you would. My younger brother was on the French horn. Oh my goodness, but I could never get into that. Yeah, that mouthpiece on that French horn is brutal. That's something else, man. It's such a small section. It's gonna sound really not good. You gotta have good lips for that, man. You gotta have your embouchure's got to that French horn. It's got to be right on the money. Norm knows what I'm talking about. But people, I gotta be careful what I say because there's people on here that will go a totally different direction with that. But especially my Australian friends. No offense, Norm, but I know how you guys are. coconut, coconut and palm trees can be considered more like a grass than a regular tree, similar to bamboo. Yeah, and you know what? I've worked with all of them, and now in Georgia I put a bamboo floor down, and it wasn't the flat bamboo; it was the vertical bamboo. Beautiful floor, and it was, considered a hardwood. Now, the which dog was it? The German Shepherd or the Pit Bull? Still, their claws made some dents in, but it was a beautiful floor, and it takes a special talent to work with bamboo over here and stuff. Um, but yeah, they're grasses, and same with the coconut and the palm can be considered like that. But you know what? The coconut lumber, if you process it properly, you can make some beautiful stuff with it. I know that because I did it. You know, you just got to take the time and realize that finishing it off is going to take a little more effort. And what I like to do is, in Thailand, I could buy the polyurethane unthinned and then just thin it out yourself with a thinner. And so I could adjust it. And I would start out with a super thin solution with the polyurethane and let it soak down into those pores and stuff. So it kind of gives the effect of like what epoxy resin would do, only not as hard. But you get the idea. I want the finish to soak down into the wood and create a bond, and then you just slowly build that up. And I mean that's how I do it. Everybody has their own little special way of finishing off wood. I'm sure your husband has his little tricks and what he likes to do, especially if he's doing stuff like ukulele and stuff. Oh my goodness, that's special finishing right there. Ask him, Panay Hard, ask your husband if he's ever, and I wasn't going to give this up, but has he ever used super glue on the lathe as a finish? Super glue and linseed oil. When I'm in a hurry and I want a quick finish, like I didn't do it with this because it's not shiny. But if I want a quick shiny finish on something on the lathe on a little Christmas tree ornament or whatever, yeah, I'll use super glue and linseed oil. Be surprised. And also like on the mango, if I got a crack, or something, I use the cyanuric acid, which is super glue, and it'll fill those cracks up. And you see it smoking in there a little bit. It's actually it's creating a polymer in there. And now it's hard to sand, but it is doable. And that's how I've repaired. I've filled holes like that in the mango tree wood and in the mango wood. And yeah, just little tricks of the trade. I'm sure your husband knows all those. Let's see. Norm says, I tried the flute, but too many keys. Trumpet only has 3. Yeah, that flute is that flute, man. Yeah, there's a lot of fingerings to learn on that. But once if you with the flute, and I had trouble which way. I can't remember which way. This way, I think it's this way. I couldn't grasp the. Your armature's got to be perfect, and you got to have you got to roll that flute just in the right place. But I could do it. I got sound out of it and whatnot. And my middle daughter, she played flute in high school. My son, he played trumpet, played piano. incredible on the piano. My son, just amazing on the piano. And my daughter, my oldest daughter, she played piano. Now she played a totally different style of music on the piano than my son did. My son was more precise, classical, that kind of stuff. My oldest daughter was more. She was into the contemporary, the Disney songs and things like that. And then my middle daughter played the flute. She wasn't really so musically inclined, but she did play it. And then of course there's my youngest one. I've talked about her before. She's just amazing. It doesn't matter whatever musical instrument she picked up. Now she played saxophone, and then she played tenor sax in the jazz band, and alto sax and all that. She's just amazing. She was amazing, amazing musician. I don't know if she probably doesn't do it anymore. I wish she did, but she taught self-taught guitar, self-taught harmonica, self-taught whatever she picked up, whatever instrument she could. I don't know. I don't know how she did it. She's just amazing, talented young lady. I love them all. Let's see. Commander's in the house. Hello there. Good morning, Colonel from Seattle, Washington, USA. Good morning there, Commander. Welcome. Glad you're here. You're here with some of the other West Coasties over there, Panay, Hart, and Lowell, and I'm missing somebody. Who did I miss? Up there in Washington, or no, in Oregon. Forgive me for leaving you out, Chappie. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Gino says, yeah, day off from the live stream today. That's what I thought, Gino. I thought you were taking a day off. I was taking a chance. I'm just going to go in there, hope, because I tried to start before you do, and I'm pretty sure you were taking a day off. But yeah, I don't want to. I like to watch you, so I don't want to be live while you're live, because then I can't watch you at the same time because I'm only using one device. I got to watch my friends' live streams. We appreciate it, Gino. We all appreciate your support. You're one of the reasons why I keep doing this. Leo's back. Haven't seen you in a while, Leo. Out there in New Mexico. Hello, Colonel. How's your day going? God bless. Thanks, Leo. It's a beautiful morning here in Iloilo. I'm in the house because if I step outside, I'm just stepping out into the concrete jungle of where I live. I live on a dead-end street, but I'm surrounded by concrete houses, so it's not much to see out there. Not like Gino, who gets to sit out there and see yeah, it's okay. I'm not always going to live here, I don't think. It's all good. Levi's and the future farmers of Ackland. Good morning, Colonel. There you go. How are you doing there, Levi? Are you counting eggs yet? Weighing eggs? That's a busy young man right there. He's what I call you, the egg. What I call you, Eggman? Yeah. And then it's hydroponic Eggman. That's Levi, future farmer of Ackland. He's the hydroponic Eggman. There's David. Good morning, David. So you're just going to forget about your fellow CEO. Why are you saying that, David? I ain't forgetting about you. You got to come in here and talk to me. I was out your way, I don't know, a couple weeks ago before I went to Manila. I ain't forgetting about you. Matter of fact, I think I might, I was watching a CEO on YouTube talking about I might delve into that more, talk about the job but once I retired, I just wanted to get away from it. But it's kind of an interesting subject. People have no idea what we did, David. They just they worked in the jail, they worked in the prison, but most people have no idea at all what that job entails. Because all they see is what they see in the movies on television. That's usually making us look like corrupt officers and whatnot, and that's just not the case for the most part. There are those that are, but I think someday soon maybe I might get into that and might do a video about that. I don't know. There's so much I want to do. It's just making myself do it. Panay Hart, he has a Porter Cable one, but has been trying to get better at hand cutting them. Okay, yeah, the Porter Cable dovetail jig. I looked at them, but they just don't have the capability. That lead dovetail jig. If you can master it, it's phenomenal, and it's the options on it are limitless. It's just You got the Omni jig too, which is gives you a lot of different options too. But the lead dovetail jig is just infinite, the adjustments that you can make on it and the different sizes of the dovetails. But if he's hand cutting them, he's a better woodworker than I am. And he's probably a better worker than I am anyway. Oh, hold on. Chappie says, "Sweet Camaro, Colonel. My dad always wanted a 1962 Ford Ranchero. So I built one for him last summer. Did paint and body and all mechanical. Even added disc brakes for him to be safe." Wow, Chappie, that's so cool. 1962 Ford Ranchero. I would love to have one of them. That's the one. That's correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the two-door. It's got the bed in the back. Yeah, yeah, I would love that. My all-time favorite, I think, was the Nova Deuce or the Nova Two, the box one. It was my friend. God bless him. He passed away last year, the year before last. Jeff Jones, one of mine and my brother's good high school friends, and he had one, a blue one, and we used to cruise around that thing through the neighborhood, and man, that was a nice car. I was always envious of him about that car. I always wanted that car, you know. And I wish I was better on with mechanics. Norm, you're obviously, or Chappie, I'm sorry, you're obviously more talented than I am. I'm one of these guys where I know a little bit about a lot of things, but maybe not a lot about one or two things. Well, I do know a lot about one or two things, but I don't know as much as I would like to know about all the things that I delve into. I mean, I should admit this, but I even do girly stuff, man. My mom taught me all kinds. She taught me how to cook, you know. She taught me how to sew, taught me how to embroider, how to cross stitch. I do all that stuff, and some of it I still do it when I need to. Some of it I do it for fun. It's, but doing the cross stitching stuff, man, that's too sedentary. I got to get up and move. I like to do it because I like to see the creations of what it looks like when it's done. I'm working on one now. I ain't gonna lie. I haven't worked on it in a while, but when I lived in San Juan Batangas, I was working on it a lot. It's a boat scene, a rowboat and the sun set and whatnot. And I don't know if I'll ever finish it. I'm probably about halfway to 2/3 done. I need to finish it. But Chap, that's cool, man. That car, that sounded really cool. He's a lucky man. I built a 1963 Ford F100 for my daughter as well. A new 302, making it an automatic transmission and power disc brake conversion on it as well. Man, Chappie, you're like the mechanic extraordinaire, man. Dadgum. Well, that's two people I want to hang out. I want to hang out with everybody eventually, but people I'd like to pick their brain. No, I wouldn't either because I won't understand half of it. But you can come over here to the Philippines, Chappie. You can work on my multi-cab, brother. Come over and work on my multi-cab. And Panay Hart, your husband, he can come over here and we can do some woodworking together. He can show me some of his little tricks. I'll show him some of mine. Panay Hart probably used as much super glue as liquid Band-Aid. And he knows what I'm talking about. That's super glue, man. That cryonalic acid, whatever. That's a tongue twister for me. But yeah, that's some useful stuff. But you gotta be careful with it, and you gotta know what you're doing with it, because once it hardens up and it creates that chemical reaction with some of the wood dust and the wood, and I use it as filler with sawdust in the super glue. Yeah, but you gotta be real careful because once it's hard, it's almost too hard to sand too. I mean, it's just like hard as a rock. Michael is in the house. Good morning, Michael. Michael said hello. He says hi. Good morning, Michael. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you all for hitting that thumbs up. I appreciate it. And we got let's just go a knock there. What's up? Mind if I hop in? What are you vibing on? Just here to listen. I've been subbed for a minute. I appreciate that. You can listen. You can contribute. But if you contribute something positive and something informative to the chat, I appreciate it. And thank you for being here. That's awesome. Panay Hart says, also use epoxy as a finish sometimes. Yep. When feeling lazy. It also works as a great grain filler for stringed instruments. Most use shellac, and I'm still improving on French polishing. Yeah, now, Panara, I know this is your husband talking. So yeah, I haven't messed with shellacs. Uh, I'm a polyurethane guy, and then when I went to Thailand, they're really into the where you got to do your own, make your own polyurethane as far as thin it out yourself. You know, in the U.S. you can go and you get. I usually like Varathane, the Varathane finish. That's what I like personally, and I use the what was I using? The Minwax stains. I like the stains, but what I can't stand is that polyurethane stain combination. Some people love that stuff. I hated it. I didn't like it at all. I want to be able to use a gel stain or something like that myself, and I can control it more, and then I'll coat it with the polyurethane. But I always liked the Varathane, and the one they used to have that product that had the roller skating rink on the picture on the that was the Varathane. Man, that stuff. And it was a high gloss. I love that stuff for my boxes and stuff that I would make. But that's just me personally. Everybody's a little bit different and likes different things. I never did the French polishing or any of that stuff. I've done some hand rub finishes, and I've even used just straight up olive oil on a hardwood. Yeah, I've done and had some nice finishes with that. Now you have to reapply it, of course, but you gotta make sure it's a really good quality uh, olive oil. You can't just vegetable oil. People use that's junk to me. So you got to use a high quality. And but yeah, you're doing stuff I haven't done yet. Now I've used some epoxy, and because I was in the boat building there for a while, and I was building a wooden boat in Florida, and I was going to use all epoxy resin and whatnot for it. Shabby says, yes, sir. Two-door bed. I have the two-door with the bed. You're talking about the Ranchero. Yeah, I have a 1960 two-door Falcon. Oh my goodness, another nice car. It took me 5 years, but it was completely blown apart, every nut and bolt touched. Wow. Yeah, that would be a nice car. Man, you got some nice cars, man. That's cool. Panay Hardon. My husband can fix trucks and cars. I watched him working on our F-250 during the pandemic. He fixed the truck and almost rebuilt it. That's all. See, I tell you what, Panay, your husband sounds a lot like me. Although I think he's a little higher skilled on some of these things than I am. Like the Camaro, that engine was rebuilt, but that my friend did the rebuild for me, and I took it somewhere else to have the valves done correctly, which in the end they weren't really done correctly, a little bit too tight, but all the body work and all the interior work, I was doing all that myself, and that's how I learned. I learned about spray-on adhesive. Love that stuff for what I was doing. Can be a little bit messy sometimes if you're not careful, but yeah, that's cool. So this is back to what you're saying about meeting people. This is what's great about YouTube and vlogging and doing live streams. You get to talk about people and that have more skills than you have. In one way, it keeps you humble because you realize how much you don't know when you talk to somebody who really does know. Then and it humbles you. And you're like, okay, you need to be quiet about that because they obviously know more than you do. Because I used firearms and stuff because I was law enforcement. So for obvious reasons, I use firearms. But when I start talking to JP and we're talking about those items and stuff, ah, you know, that guy, even James, they know so much more than I do. Now I know how to use them, and I know how to use them very well. But as far as the mechanics and all that kind of stuff and the talent, yeah, I can't even hold a candle to the knowledge that they know. That's the arthritis kicking in. I got to move the muscles around, otherwise I won't be able to get up out of this sofa. But anyway, yeah, that's cool. And yeah, what was I saying? Humbling at the same time. My husband, from Panay Hart again, my husband had a Camaro, but he had to join the Navy and did not have time to fix them. He just bought me a girl car before he left for a boot camp. Huh? What's a girl car, Panay Hart? What exactly is a girl car? Educate us a little bit. What's a girl car? Was it pink? Excuse me. I got the coffee run down my face. Look at that. Ran. Coffee ran out my mouth, down onto my shirt. Trying to do too many things at once. All right. He got me a PT Cruiser. Folks, excuse me 1 second. I'll be back in 1 minute. I gotta take care of something real quick. Alrighty. What happens? That's what happens. I hope everybody didn't go away. Sorry about that, folks. Hey, almost 62 years old. If you drink a big cup of coffee, it eventually makes its way down through the processes. I couldn't hold it. I had to go to the CR, so excuse me for that. But I don't want to mess up my nice new sofa. Oh my goodness. That's embarrassing. If I ain't gonna lie to you, that's embarrassing. But I couldn't hold it, man. I was like, I gotta go. And could have taken you in there with me, but I didn't, okay? I did give you the courtesy of that. Oh, he got me a PT Cruiser. My sister-in-law, my brother's wife, she had a PT Cruiser for a while. And I thought, at first when I saw them, I thought they would look cool. But after riding in hers, I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't like it. I didn't care for the way it was set up inside. Especially in the back seat, did not like it at all. They were cool looking vehicles though. I know what they were trying to do. She worked for Chrysler. And so she always got her vehicles. She would get new vehicles all the time and at a cut rate because she worked for them. Chappie says, I can fix mechanical stuff, Colonel, but can't nail two boards together. So your woodworking is fascinating to me. Well, it sounds to me like Panay Hart, her husband, he's on the up and up. I know he's listening probably still, I hope. He's on the up and up on the woodworking because I've been out of it for a minute. But I was saying this the other day on my live stream. I've gotten into where I've been combining steel with wood. So like I'm building steel frames, but putting wooden tops on the tables, because mostly what I've done in Thailand here is I've been building tables and stuff just out of necessity. The one house I lived in Thailand, all we had was an outside kitchen, or they say in the Philippines a dirty kitchen, but there was no counter. It was they just had a gas burner sitting on a stand on the ground on the floor, and I was just like, nah, this ain't gonna work for me. I need a prep area, I need counters and things like that, or I prefer to have that. I shouldn't say I need it, but I prefer that, and because I can't sit down on the ground like the Thais. They'll sit right down on the concrete or on the ground, have their cutting board. They'll prepare everything right there on the ground. But me, I'm not getting down there with the ants and get bit and all that kind of stuff. But they're used to it. I can't do it because of the arthritis in my knees. It hurts too bad. Well, I never was good at sitting cross-legged anyway. But anyway. But yeah, that mechanical. See, that's the thing, Chad. I'm interested in talking to you on it because it's the mechanical stuff that, and maybe that's the way it is. The stuff we don't know about. Sometimes, we want to talk to people that do because we learn. For me, anyway, it's about learning. I like to be learning something new every day. And when I do learn something new, I'm like, whoa, that's really cool. I learned something new. That's great. Because learning makes you what? It makes you more informed, and then by being more informed, you become a more well-rounded person. Sorry about that. See that reflection in my class? That's from my front door being open. That reflection. I tell you what, it ain't fun wearing glasses sometimes, but it is what it is. I've been wearing them since I was 10 years old. And Norm says, still here. I appreciate you, Norm. I appreciate that 24 hours you gave me. That's great. I love it. I should have enough content now, like even with the live streams and on my what do you call it? My playlist she covered 24 hours and then some maybe. But I heard, yeah, Chrysler car. Then after his boot camp, we got a Lincoln LS. Ooh, high society. Got a Lincoln. The PT Cruiser didn't last. He fixed the Lincoln LS for a while. Then F-150. But what made him happy was when he got the F-250. Yeah, now see, my brother, because his wife was Chrysler Dodge, okay? So he's got that huge, that Dodge, what, 3,500 or whatever it's called? The dually. He's got a dually. I don't know if he still has it. I think he still has it. But he's a contractor. He beat that truck to death. But he's into his Dodge Rams and everything. Myself, I've had them all. I've had them all. I think my favorite truck was the last one I had, which was the new F-150 when they upgraded with the new motor, because man, I had the king cab, the 8-foot bed. I had a big Go Industries Rancher or Ranchero, I think it's called Rancher, brush guard on the front of it. I tell people, and there's no lie, I took up 2 spots at Walmart. I would pull in and pull right straight through just to get the back end out of into the parking place, and people would get mad. No, I'm like, look, what do you want me to do? And I remember pulling into the prison, and people were like, when I first got there, man, that's a big ass truck. I'm like, yeah, it is. Man, it was fun, and but Obama caused me to get rid of that, along with causing me to retire. But that's a whole nother story. I think I told that story already. But the thing that's interesting about that truck, when I did trade it in and whatnot, about 3 weeks later, I was in Florida. I saw it on 95 or whatever the highway was. I saw it on the highway. I passed them. And I'm like, that's my truck. I knew it was my truck because they still had my stickers in the windows that I had in it. That's how I knew for sure it was my truck. And that Go Industries, that Rancher brush guard on it, you don't see a whole lot of them on a lot of vehicles because it was a beast. And I bought that just in case I hit a deer. You know, it's just like, I'm gonna take that deer out. Maybe it'll stick to the brush guard. I don't know. Sorry if that offends you PETA people or offends people, but it is what it is. Hold on, I got somebody out here. Yeah, I don't think they're for me. But yeah, I like my big trucks. Hello, friends from Vegas Will. How's things in Vegas? Vegas Will. How are you doing, man? Welcome. Appreciate you being here. Oh, looking at the top of the screen, look at all the thumbs up and the 12 people in here. Appreciate that very much. And it's helping me out a lot, folks. I got to get over that hump because I'm tired of looking at that, at the monetization thing and the watch hours. I just, like, let's just get it over with. And because I don't want to think about it. He worked on small engines and built a pressure. Not sure where you're going with that there, Jackie, but that's okay. Hi, Vegas Will from Panay Heart. Chappie says, coffee is borrowed, never owned, as I say. Okay. I just processed that, what you were talking about there, Chappie. That's funny, man. That is hilarious. Yeah. Yeah, well, you know, I'm getting up there, and the age is taking effect. You know, it comes on me quick, and it's like, when I gotta go, I got to go. You know, I'm not even gonna sit here and lie and say I ain't never had an accident, because I have. It's bad, but that's what happens. You know, I always said I was glad I wasn't a woman. You know, when I was younger and everything, and having to deal with what women have to deal with. But now that I'm an older man, I'm less like, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe that would have been better off. I don't know. Dealing with some of the issues, the male issues I got to deal with now is just kind of like, I don't know, man, which is worse. But it is what it is. My husband called the PT Cruiser as a PT loser. See, I'm liking your husband more and more, the more and more I learn about him. You know, I like this man. That's great. I think he's a little younger than I am, maybe a lot younger, but I'm liking him. I've seen his picture. He looks a lot younger than me, or I just look a lot older than what I am. But now I think I just look my age, maybe older, maybe a little older. But yeah, PT loser, I love it. Yeah, those were I didn't want to be critical or anything, but to me, that those PT Cruiser, they were crap cars. They just, when they came out, they kind of looked cool because they were trying to go for that retro look. But just garbage. They just, yeah, it just wasn't garbage. I did like the pickup truck that they were doing. That was kind of cool. But you had to have money back. I didn't have any money back then. Well, who's this geezer? Well, you can look at the channel name, and you can see who I am. How old are you? Chappie says, yes, sir. You can learn from anyone young and old. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. I like that, Chappie. I like that. That's pretty good. I like that. But I heard he got me a Challenger car, two-door car, before we moved to Japan back in 2015. There you go. I liked what they did or what they were trying to do with the Challenger and whatnot. My issue with the Challenger, because my buddy and I used to look at him, and he's had a few. The quality control in that vehicle, to me, especially, I don't know what it's like now, or even if they're making them now, but I don't pay attention to American cars anymore. But the problem I had was quality control in the fitment. Like you could go onto a dealership and look at the Challengers lined up, and look at the back end, and then look at the gaps where the trunk lid closes and the lights. Everyone was different. The gaps were different on every vehicle. Same thing with the door. Just all the fit and finish on those Challengers was very disappointing to me. And I just thought, man, this is garbage. They could have done so much better. Now, hopefully they fixed that. But back when they were first coming out, it was hit or miss. And some of it was glaring. I mean, it was obvious. And because my buddy and I, Ronnie, my friend, 9 years older than me, my brother in the U.S., my other brother from another, and he and I, we would go and look at them, and I was disappointed. I really was disappointed with them. My husband is 3 years older than James. Oh man, he's a youngster then. So are you older than him, Panay Hart? I don't know. I thought you told me you were older than that. But anyway, I'm probably wrong. I'm probably thinking of somebody else. But so he's a young boy. No offense, I'm just joking around. Yeah, James is what, 44? Yeah, so he's got a long way to go. He's still young, but good for him. He's on the top of his game. I'd love to be back in my 40s again. Actually, I'd like to be back in my 30s again, but it is what it is. I'm living life and enjoying it. If I was back in my 30s or 40s, guess what? I wouldn't be here in the Philippines. Wouldn't have gone to Thailand either. So it's all good. Everything in life happens for a reason, and as the Lord sees fit for our lives. I know some of you don't believe that, and that's okay. But that's what I believe. My husband. Okay, there we go. I got that. PT Cruiser was a throwback to the old Woodies from Chappie. Yeah, they tried to. I didn't like what they did on the back end, and I didn't like what they did in the interior. It had like a step up, and I didn't like that at all. I mean, I know what they were trying to do, but once I rode in it with her, I just didn't care for it. Didn't care for it at all. Panay Hart, I'm 45. Well, you're a young girl too. He was an aviation mechanic in the Navy. That's why I know so much. I mean, I'm sorry that he was in the Navy, but I'm thanking him for his service. I wish he had been in the Army, but we all can't be in the correct military service. It's all good. Yeah, I'm an Army brat. What can I say? I grew up in the Army, and then I was in the Army myself. And yeah, it is what it is. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. But see, I get seasick. So I tell people, there's a reason why I was in the Army and not the Navy. Can you imagine if I'd gone in the Navy with my motion sickness? Oh my goodness, I'd have been puking my guts out all over the place, and they would have kicked me out. I guarantee you, the Navy would have kicked me out probably. Not that the Army didn't, but that's a whole nother story. Thank you, Bill Clinton, and I'm being facetious, folks. I don't thank Bill Clinton for anything. Where are we at? Okay. But after brain surgery, he had lots of challenges. The military retired him. Yeah, that happens, man. You know, man, listen, I'm calling Panay Heart, man. That happens. And, but I said this the other day. You know, and a lot of you out there, they don't believe in God, and that's up to them. They got an answer for that. And but my thing on it is, I said this the other day. God doesn't bring things into our lives that we can't handle. Sometimes we think we can't handle it, but you know what? Here we are on the other side of it, or maybe you're going through it right now. There's gonna be another side to it. May not be the side that you want to be on, or it may not end up the way you want it to have. But the Lord doesn't give us things that we can't handle. That's the truth. He was not ready to retire yet, but he has no choice. Yeah, and that happens. I wasn't ready to get out of the Army, but they made me get out. Got honorable discharge, but it is what it is. I was kind of ready. I was kind of ready to get out anyway. It's freezing my butt off up there in Alaska. But it's beautiful up there, but man, it was cold. Let's see. He wanted to be in a chair force. There we go. I think you meant chair force. Yeah, we all can't be like Gino, the chair force, But I count Gino as a brother, man. It takes all kinds. So, with your husband, me, and Gino, we got the Army, Navy, and the Air Force. Now we just need some old leatherneck jarhead in here, and we we need a coastie too. We need somebody in the Marine Corps, and the few, the proud. Not even. Yeah, don't even. I'm not even going to go to. I love guys in the Marine Corps, because they're like, once a Marine, always a Marine, and I'm like, well, why aren't you still in? Especially when they're young, like, well, why aren't you still in? Well, man, no, man. You said once a Marine, always a Marine. Why aren't you still in? If it's so great, it's so wonderful, why aren't you still in? I just like dogging them out, man. Because they don't have an answer, man. I'm supervised. Like, yeah, okay, whatever, man. It's all good. Hey, we're all on the same side, and hopefully we all have the same goal. And it is what it is, And I'd do it all over again. But if you want the easy life, join the Air Force. I used to laugh, man. These guys in the Air Force, they talk about their basic training or whatever you guys call it, tech school or whatever you guys call it, boot camp. I don't know what you guys called it. But they used to talk about how hard. I'm like, hey, you got no idea, man. You got no idea. They were rough on. No, man. Come on. In the Navy, the same. Come on now. Join the Marine Corps, join the Army, find out what real training's all about as far as breaking you down and building you back up. It changed my life. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I got a boot camp in the advanced training. I thought I could stop a bullet, and it wouldn't hurt me. What an idiot! What an idiot! But they brainwashed me, man. I thought I was invincible. And I was in the reserves at the time, so I went back to school, and I played football. And it helped me on the football field because I was fearless. I'd hit somebody, I didn't care, because I was like, I'm invincible. Because that's the way they make you think. Was I invincible? Absolutely not. But I thought I was. So stupid. Yeah, I know you meant chair force. But he was too old when he joined the server. You meant service. Okay. It's all good, Panay. Don't worry about it. You guys are still both young. I don't even want to hear it. David, my CO friend. That's true. Not everyone scores high enough for the Air Force. Hey, I could have gotten in the Air Force very easily, but it's kind of crazy. I don't know if I told you. I was going to join the Marine Corps. I really was, because I'm a kind of a gung ho type person. I was going to join the Marine Corps. But I went in there that one day, talked to my dad about, to let him know I was joining, because I was in Bible college at the time. And I went there to let him know that I'm going to join the Marine Corps, because this guy talked me into it, kind of was thinking, I should do that. And I remember my dad sitting there across his desk, and he's just like, well, I'm going to support you with whatever you do. And I love you. And he goes, but it's not what I would do. That's what he told me. He said, you can join whatever branch of the service you want. He goes, but you want to join the Marine Corps? He goes, I love you. I'm going to support whatever you do. That's not what I would do. It got me thinking. I'm like, why the heck would I join the Marine Corps when I grew up an Army brat? I grew up in the Army. I know everything about the Army already. Thought I did. But my dad was a colonel. So I saw the good side of the Army, you know. I didn't see the lower enlisted side, which is what I found out later. But yeah, so I joined it. I thought, get that Marine Corps stuff out of your head. But I'm like, if I'm going to join, you know, I'm going to go out and do this, that, and the other. No, I joined the Army instead, and it was the right decision. And but yeah, my dad's like, not what I would do. You know, my dad been to Vietnam the whole 9 yards, so he knew what he was talking about. And yeah, it was funny. Panay Hart says he was going to an engineer class, but his brain can't handle it. So I told him to find something that makes him happy and explores creativity. So he switched his focus and switched to woodworking. That's awesome. That is awesome. Okay, you know, we can only do what we can do. You know, don't hate on us for it. You know, you do what you can do. But whatever you do, you know, like my grandfather used to say on my mom's side, do it to the best of your ability or don't do it at all. That's cool. Write that down. Do it to the best of your ability or don't do it at all. My dad was in the Air Force. This is from Chappie in Guam. And Damage took a lot of photos for Guam and Denaj. Am I saying that correctly? Took a lot of photos at the shows with Bob Hope, and his ladies did photograph for the Air Force. I'm just going to let that go. You know, it is what it is. I mean, it says it all right there. My husband's laughing. Yeah, good. I'm glad he's laughing because you're putting out all kinds of information about him. That's okay, though. Much respect still. You know, I'm just happy that he's married to a lady like you because, you know, he was in the Navy. So, you know, but at least he wasn't in a submarine. And maybe he was, I don't know. Oh, my goodness. We used to tease his name, man. Yeah, I just better stop because before I get myself in trouble. But I don't know who we tease. I think we teased in the Army, we probably teased the Air Force more than we did the Navy. Because, you know, when the Navy's so far removed, they're out there floating around in their little tub, you know, and giving each other back rubs and, you know, whatnot. But, yeah, so I guess we probably picked on the Air Force more. But I just always try to figure out in the Navy, when they went out to sea, all these individuals, did they all come back as couples? I always wondered about that. You know, yeah, I don't know. I'm kidding, guys. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm sorry. My mind went there. It is what it. Hey, I am who I am. Good, bad, and ugly. Let's see. Can't all be in the chair force. Some actually have to do physical work in the military. Yeah, that's right. Gino, you tell them. You know. I love you guys, man. It's great. You know, we can sit back and tease each other still. You know, and you know, there's no animosity. No animosity at all. I think it's just good, lighthearted fun. Everybody has a job to do, you know. And Gino did his thing in the medical and what all you did. Gino did a lot of stuff, man. But you know, and I did I don't talk about what I did. Cause in one aspect, it's a little bit embarrassing what I did in the military, but in the other aspect, nobody understands it. So I just let it go. I don't even talk about it. You know, I just tell the last place I was up there was in Alaska with the 6ID, the light infantry, and all we did was run our butts off. That's all I remember. And that's not all I remember, folks, but I'm just saying that's all I talk about. Yeah, can't all be in the chair force. I could have been, man, brother. I could have been. I chose not to be. Regretted it ever since. No, I didn't regret it. I love the Army. Don't get me wrong. I love the Army. It's all good. I'm glad you're still here, Gino. I thought you left. Panay Hart says, now you can be part of the Space Force. I'm part of the Space Force. Wait, I need wait, hold on. I need some aluminum foil. Yeah, here we go. I'm part of the Space Force. Nah, those guys. Talk about high tech jobs. Whew. Yeah, I don't know if I have the brain power to be in the Space Force, but I'm joking and making lighthearted, but I have the utmost respect for all people in all branches of the military. And you know what? Even the Coast Guard. I learned, I totally respect them. Learned a lot about them. I have some friends who had, their children went in the Coast Guard and whatnot, and utmost respect for what they do and what they have to do. And what they, I got them cookie crumbs in my head. But anyway, I'm sorry if I don't mean to, I hope I don't offend anybody. I don't mean to. I just, some things strike me as funny, and the Space Force strikes me as funny, even though I know it's not. It's a real need, and they're doing a lot of secret, excuse me, a lot of secret squirrel stuff that we don't even know about. Maybe we don't want to know about. My uncle, my uncle was Marines. This is from Chappie, and Grandpa was Coast Guard. Army kicked Grandpa out while he was headed to Korea. They found out he was only 15, so he went to the Coast Guard. Hey, he tried to do the right thing. You know what I mean? That's funny. JP's in the house. Hey, Colonel, I'm getting Blue Arrow washed and then getting the oil changed. Well, that's a good thing, JP. Stay on top of that, man. That's one of the things I noticed in Southeast Asia. They don't. Sometimes they let that maintenance go, and that's why they end up with the vehicles that they have, because they don't take care of them the way they should until something breaks. Panay Hart, did you retire '06? No, no, Panay Hart, I was not a colonel in the Army. I make that real clear in one of my early videos. That's why that guy accused me of stolen valor, because I have the nickname the Colonel. Now the Colonel was my dad, okay, and that was my road name in the motorcycle club, and that's why this guy, I think he was ex-Navy, he took exception to it with his little VFW hat on and his ribbons on his white VFW. Oh, sorry about that. Whatever. But no, I was in the bureau. I retired as a captain, but I had that road name with the motorcycle club. I was in the Hard Chargers motorcycle club. It's a correctional officer motorcycle club, which I helped found, and or I was in on the founding of it. I should say that. And then I used to look different than I look now, and I looked like Colonel Sanders for a while. So they started calling me the Colonel Sanders when I was in Georgia, and I told that story. They did it behind my back to be mean, but I'm like, look, that was already my nickname, you know. And out of respect for my dad, I got that road name. I took that road name there, and with the Hard Chargers and whatnot. And it is what it is. Some people are offended by that, but I have never come out and said that I was a colonel in the military. Never once. My dad was. And I was in the military, and I'm a veteran. That's why that guy torqued me with that stolen valor statement, because I think he had the idea that I wasn't even a veteran, and I'm like, dude, you better check my jacket, man, before you start falsely accusing me of stuff, saying that I'm false, trying to be false in something that I'm not. I got feelings too, and I tell you, that dude pushed my buttons. Terry, you guys can go in there and see the comments I made back to him. He pushed my buttons, and that's one of the times where somebody upset me, and I don't regret getting upset back at them. Usually I get upset when I get out of character with people. Like Mike over there at my spot, I felt bad about that. But this guy accusing me of stolen valor, don't even try it, man, because I don't ever try to be something I'm not. But anyway, that's the long answer to your short question, Panay Hart. No, I was not. I didn't retire out of the Army, okay? I did a 6-year contract. I was reserve, active duty, reserve, you know. And then I went and started working for the guy. I did some odd jobs in between. Then I started working as a federal employee for the Department of Justice. Hello, Panay Hart from JP. Hey, JP from Panay Hart. JP says, I know my father was Air Force Sergeant Police, but should check if he was a Master Sergeant. Yeah, the Air Force rank's a little bit weird. Their NCO ranks are a little bit twisted from what the Army, and even the Army is more, and the Marine Corps is more along with the Army. The Air Force, they went some, you know, and then they got their little wavy lines, and I don't get it. Well, I think Gino was a Master Sergeant. What did your rank take up? Probably took up your whole upper sleeve, Gino, didn't it? Show offs. You know, I'm gonna be nice. There's so much I like to tease. I would like to tease Gino about, but you know, I got the utmost respect for him, so I won't do it. Even though good nature and good heartedness. I want to, I want to tease him, but I got so much respect for the man. It's hard for me to tease him about that. Uh, Maybe if he had a different personality or if he was a different, maybe I would tease him. But he's so good natured about everything. It's just hard for me to dig at him because he's just like, yeah, whatever. Just yeah. Are you still talking, Colonel? Yeah, okay, whatever. You know, he's saying that it doesn't bother him. Or if it does bother him, he's really good at hiding it. But anyway, yeah, I love all the military services. They're necessary and they're needed, and I appreciate them. And I thank everyone for their service. And I know if you're still in, I know what you're going through. And if you're not, then I know what you went through. You know, it's all good. Although I will say this, one last thing about the Air Force. I got to tell this story. When I was going to stationed up in Alaska, and I was taking my little Ford Escort out there to the West Coast to put it on the ferry to ship it up to Alaska, ship it up to Anchorage. I stayed at, what was that, Fort McCord Air Force Base, because I couldn't get in at Fort Lewis at the guest house where. So I went over there, and because I was lower enlisted at the time, they put me up in this building that they called, and I thought I was going to be staying in the barracks, right? No, help me out, Gino. You know where I stayed. I stayed in the dormitory. And I'm like, am I in college again, or am I in the military? I stayed in a dormitory, and I went in. It was like a college dorm. It was all plush, drapes, a nice bed, nice armoire to hang the clothes and stuff in. And I'm thinking, I got to get ready to clean this place. Oh, no, we have cleaning staff. What? Oh, yeah, the ladies, they'll come in and clean that for you. Don't worry about it. Just, you know, make the bed. No, we got cleaning staff take care of that for you. I'm like, excuse me? Is this the the chair force? Oh yeah, the dormitory. I'll never forget that. I laughed about that so much over the years that I went out there and stayed on the Air Force Base and stayed in the dormitory. You gotta love them. You gotta love them. It was great. Oh my God, I'm sorry, Gino. I love you, man. It's just I just got to tell something in the story. I didn't know what it is, Space Force. My husband just explained it to me. Okay, Panihart. Good morning, JP from Gino. Chappie says, Dad said he couldn't get into the Marines. His head wouldn't fit in the jar. His head wouldn't fit in the jar. I love it, man. I love it. That's great. That's great, Chappie. I love it. Panihart said, don't get me started laughing now too much. There are also... That's great. Sorry, folks. I get to laugh. I can't stop. There are also lots of different types of colonels. Absolutely. Can say you like Colonel too. You know, if I let that guy get to me, I could change my name to Kerna, but I don't. You know, there's a reason for that nickname, and the reason I chose it for the YouTube channel. I didn't have to. I could have gone something, and maybe I'll change it. I don't know, but it's just kind of sticking, and people keep calling me the Colonel, and you know, everybody knows that's not my real name, you know, and but it's just a nickname. I wanted to tell that dude in that VFW, his little VFW hat. I wanted to tell him, dude, get over yourself, man. I'm not walking around in a military uniform wearing the Eagles for the colonel. I'm not for being a colonel in the military. I'm not doing any of that. Get over yourself, man. Oh my God, I couldn't stand. I can't stand being accused of something or doing something that I'm not doing. And it just really torqued me. I'm very careful. That's why I did that video early on to explain the Colonels Chronicles and explain why, you know, people nickname me the Colonel, because I don't want anybody coming out and saying, oh, stolen valor. Because I knew some knucklehead was going to come along and accuse me of that. And sure enough, now it took, you know, however long I've been on here now, 4 months, 5 months. It took that long, but sure enough, they came out of the woodwork. And I pulled up his little profile picture, and I'm just like, I just shook my head. You know, I get it, man, but I mean, I get what yeah, whatever. I was just like, go play bingo some more and go sit at the bar and drink another beer. But anyway, no disrespect meant by that, but people like that just irritate me. JP, corny jokes too make sense. JP, that's hilarious, man. Maybe I'll have to plant some corn out here in a pot, okay? I do like some popcorn though too. That's funny. You guys cracking me up. Gino, you think Dazzle would like Panay Sheriff hat? I just need a logo and we'll make it happen. There you go, JP. You got a project, man. Jackie says, what's really crazy is the Army has more boats than the Navy, and the Navy has more aircraft than the Air Force. Did your husband tell you that, Panay Hart? You guys crack me up. The Army's got some boats now. They do have some boats. And my dad was on some of those boats in Vietnam. Found out after the fact, but yeah, I don't know if we have more. I don't know that. I'd have to research that. But the Navy does have a lot of aircraft. I'll give them that. JP, I'll send you the Panay Posse Sheriff logo. There you go, Gino. JP says, thanks, Gino. I'm not planning on putting the order in until the weekend. All righty. I might have to get one of those. Gino says, I just sent it to you, JP. Panay Hart, I doubt they'd say stolen valor if you called yourself the private, but they might take that wrong too. Well, you know, stolen valor has no rank. If you're trying to say you were in the military and you weren't, that's stolen valor. You know, if you were trying to say you're in, and a lot of them, they want to, I was a Ranger, a 75th Ranger Battalion. No, you weren't. Come on, man. And, you know, people that were in the military, you know when somebody's faking. You can tell it, you know, and you know. That's stolen valor. When somebody's trying to fake, pretend like they were in the military and they weren't. This guy was trying to say, because of my, you're saying you're the colonel, because he's like, you know, they called me the general, so I guess I could start a YouTube channel saying the Colonels Chronicles. Hey, go for it, man. I ain't stopping you. It's up to you, you know. And but because it's all about what you're trying to do. I'm not trying to be something I'm not, and I don't purport to be something that I'm not at all. And the stolen valor folks, they like to go out there. They like to put on the uniform, and it could be a private uniform. Still stolen valor. If they're putting on a uniform that they never wore, they never earned the right to wear that. That's stolen valor, and it's wrong. But I would never try to do that. Panay Hart said, yes, my husband said those, LOL. JP, I thought stolen valor referred to false combat experience. Well, maybe it does, JP. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I look at it as anybody who's trying to pretend like they were in the military and they weren't. That's stolen valor. Because honestly, whether you were in combat or not, you were still in harm's way. Okay, if you were in the military, doesn't matter whether you got deployed or not. Different people in the branch, so they'll tease people that were not combat or not in combat, MOSs or jobs or whatever. But it doesn't matter. I learned this from the VA. It doesn't matter. You know, once you put that uniform on, you did the training. You put that uniform on, you were immediately in harm's way, whether you realized it or not. You had a target on you, and it's true. And I mean, I got brainwashed when I was in. I still don't like Russians because of the training I went through, you know, and it's not fair. It's not fair to some of the Russian people because some of them are really nice people, but that's not what I was trained to do. I was trained to take them off the count, you know, and it's hard to get away from that. I met a lot of Russians in Thailand, and I would say 98% of them I didn't like them, you know, and I'm sorry, it's not right, but it's just. It's indoctrination, man. It's hard to get that stuff out of your head. And, yeah, it's just, I need to just, I need to just change the subject on that because I'm kind of getting angry at myself about it. But, yes, okay. Maybe called the general because he gave away a general power of attorney and lost everything. Did your husband say that? That's funny. Yeah, no, I don't know, man. I looked at his ribbons and stuff, and stuff. It looked like they were Navy wings or Navy. So I don't know. It wasn't Army. And on he had all kinds of ribbons. I don't know what I figured he was probably an officer in the Navy, but but you know what? Thank you for your service, sir. But don't come on to my YouTube channel and accuse me of trying to falsify who I am or whatever because it's just not true. Just not true. I've never, ever said that. Ever. Um, that's why in that video it says, a lot of people say, was he a colonel? Like, no, but I was in the Army. Yeah, I was. And I grew up in the military. Grew up an Army brat. It's just the way it is. It's all good. All right, I'm at the bottom there, folks. And I'm just over 2 hours and 5 minutes. So I probably should, I probably should wrap it up here. Oh, you know what? I didn't even get into what I was getting into. So I got my package yesterday in the mail. I got a bunch of these things wrapped up, and I'm going to show you what that is because I've been waiting on this stuff, and I've talked about it a little bit. I haven't done my multi-cab video yet. I've done some clips and stuff, but I'm preparing, and I'm getting things that I'm going to need to customize this thing. So I'm going to open this up. It's really not that big of a deal, but I'm going to show you what I got and what I'm doing with it. So, anybody know what that is? Looks like insulation, doesn't it? But it's not. It's kind of, sort of. So, here we go. See that? That's the sound deadening material. Clear my throat. That's the sound deadening material that I'm going to use on the inside of the multi-cab to cut down some of the road noise. So I got a bunch of this, and this is the thin one. This is only 5 millimeters, but I got several rolls of 10 millimeter too, which I think I'm going to put on the floor of it. Cut down some of the road. So this is to cut down the exterior noise and some of the road noise because I have mud tires on that, and they're very loud. And hopefully this will cut down to make the interior of the multi-cab quieter. Hopefully it won't make it a Faraday cage, but and I won't get any reception on my phone or anything. But anyway, I'm going to put this stuff in. This thin stuff I'm probably going to put on the door panels, but we'll see. And I'm going to put that in there so that the interior becomes super quiet, so that when I put in a sound system, it's going to make it sound that much better. I hope. That's the plan, and we'll see. And also it might be an insulating factor, maybe to keep some of the heat out from outside, and the air conditioner might not have to work so hard on the interior. I don't know. I don't know if that's how it works or not. But anyway, the real thing is to deaden the sound coming from the outside, so that when I put it, because I'm going to spend a few pesos on a sound system in that multi-cab, so that, hey, if I want to listen to some tunes, I can listen to some tunes and not just hear the sound of the tires whirring as I'm going down the road. Who knows, maybe someday I'll put on regular tires on there, but right now I got the off-road package, just in case I want to go up to Ackland to where James and Karen live, and I got to make it through that road. I wish they would pave that thing. Not James and Karen, it's a public road. I wish that, the barangay or whoever is responsible, but I wish they would do something with it, but they won't. I know they won't. Maybe someday, I don't know. If there was a lot more houses there, they might. But that's what I got going on. I got this yesterday. I received it, and big old box it came in. And I was worried that I wouldn't have enough. But now I got it. I think I got enough. And if I don't, I'll just order some more. It took a little while to get here because I think probably came from China, probably. But it's rubberized. It's rubberized if you want to. And Panay Hart, your husband, he'll know what it is. And Chappie knows what it is. But yeah, I'm gonna put that sound deadening material just about anywhere where I can get it or I can reach it. And I wish I was a little younger because I'm struggling getting up under there. I'd like to put it up on the firewall and whatnot, but we'll see what happens. Here we go. Let me catch up. Hold on. Oh my goodness, that's funny. Hold on, I'm way behind on the chat now. I thought everybody was done chatting, and here we're back in it. There we go. Maybe preferred pronouns should be Your Honor, or Your Majesty, or Your Highness. That's funny, Panay. That's hilarious. Bruce says, awesome, Colonel. Panay Hart, are you in the bathroom because that background looks like our shower curtain? Oh, man, that hurts, Panay Hart. That hurts, man. That's not a shower curtain. That's just a wall hanging on the beach. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to be so nice to you anymore. That's not, that's messed up shower curtain. No, I'm not in the CR. I'm not in the bathroom. And you want me to be? You want me to take the phone into the CR? I mean, I can't believe you're asking me that. Oh my goodness, funny. You all crack me up. Sometimes the only quiet room in our house is the bathroom. Well, see, okay, I'm with you, but see, if I go in the bathroom, it ain't gonna be quiet no more. I just put it that way. Me and Larry, the cable guy, we got kind of the same humor sometimes. Is he still out there doing comedy? I don't know. He dude used to crack me. His his toilet humor, man. The guy was crazy. He's a sick puppy, kind of like me. But Chappie says, "All right, Colonel. God bless. Have a great day. That sound deadening material works great. I install it in all my classic cars. Helps with heat as well." Chappie, that's good to know. Appreciate that. And that's kind of that was my line of thinking on it. And as they say, not my first rodeo either. But I appreciate the affirmation, and I appreciate you sharing your knowledge because you got way more knowledge about that stuff than I do. I've done enough just to be dangerous, but I don't profess to be a professional or an expert on all this. So I appreciate that. I'm going to do the best I can with it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm going to do the best I can. That's all I can say about it. Bruce Carroll, too quiet, not so for me. I started to hear sounds that I didn't know where it was coming from. That's what I'm saying, Bruce. Okay, you get it, man. If I go into the bathroom to CR, it ain't gonna be quiet no more. Bruce, did you check the toilet? Now, Panahar, is this your husband or is this you? Because it sounds more like this would be your husband talking. Bruce, yeah, but the sink, I think it was. Okay. It wouldn't have been coming from the sink if I was hearing noises. Chappie, without the sound deadening material, the old cars sound like a tin can rolling down a gravel driveway. It's a world of difference. That's good to know, man. And that's what I was hoping for. And that's what I'm hoping for this. But for me, really, I want the silence inside so that it amplifies the quality of the sound because I'm not going for just JBL's thumping bass. I want to be able to hear the highs, lows, mid-range. I want to be able to hear everything because I like a good tweeter also, and I like the quality. Yeah, I want the quality sound, not so much the loud. Yeah, I like it loud. That's why I have def. But I don't want just where it's just don't don't. I don't need that. Okay, I'm not Filipino, and I'm not from the hood, so I don't need just that thumping. But and don't take that the wrong way, folks. But I don't need blasters like that. I want high quality sound. So it's good to know. Sounds like a dripping. I'm sorry, folks. My mind just went somewhere it shouldn't. It sounds like a dripping problem. That ain't right. That don't even sound right. It should be beautiful. Yeah, Chappie, I'm not. This is from China, so it's going to be what it is. It's pretty soft stuff. It's not the thick. It's not the dense rubberized. This is more like a. Hold on a second. It's more like a black foam, so we'll see if it works or not. We'll see. I'm gonna get the whole thing undercoated anyway, and maybe that will help a little bit too. Plus preserve it. When I heard that is not me, it's my husband being funny. I knew that was your husband. I knew that was your husband, because the stuff you're writing, I'm thinking, that's not what a woman would be writing. I knew that was your husband. That's great. I love. He and I would get along great. Youngster. We still get along good. That's like when I hang out with Rock, because Rock's only 40 years old, but he brings out the young side of me, and I have a good time cutting up with him. I probably say stuff and cut up with him where I wouldn't normally do around the circles of people my age and whatnot. But there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with having a good time. But I knew that wasn't you, Jack. That's great. All right, Colonel, been a good vibe today. Thank you and God bless you. And we leave you with peace. Thanks, Bruce, Carol. Appreciate you guys stopping by and helping out the channel. And everybody. I appreciate everybody helping out the channel because I will get there one day. I'm not, it is what it is and it's all good. But I appreciate each and every one. I appreciate meeting you guys and making new friends. That's really cool because I don't have a lot of friends because I'm just not a likable person. I'm just being honest with you. I'm not always that likable, but I try to be kind-hearted and I try to be nice to people and respectful. And I really thoroughly enjoy meeting you guys and chatting with you guys and talking. And it helps me get all the talking out of me because I talk too much anyway. After brain injury, I put sound deadening mat all over the interior of the truck to help keep the sound out. Sound effect of it was the radio sounded better, or side effect was the radio sound. Yeah, absolutely. That's Mr. Panay Hart right there. But yeah, absolutely. Seaman. Ah, man, I love it. It will add weight to your vehicle, though. Chappie says, "Yeah, Chappie, this stuff's super lightweight, but yeah, it'll add weight for sure. But I think it's going to be negligible, and the multi-cabs can't handle a lot of extra weight. So even with the top rack on it, the one they put on there is super lightweight, but it's crap, just to be honest. So I want to put a different one on, but I'm going to have to try to find a lighter weight aluminum one, and we'll see how that goes. But the rack that's on the top there, I'm ready to rip it off already. But yeah, this stuff is super lightweight. We'll see. You're right. It will add some weight to it, but this is not super thick. The thickest one I got is only 10 millimeters. So which is what 1 centimeter. Okay, 10 millimeters. That's where the metric system comes in handy. It's 10 centimeters. Well, that's one, or 10 millimeters. That's 1 centimeter. It makes it easy. Reminds me of another sailor with the last name Sample. I wasn't going there, man. I wasn't even going. We call guys in the name. They're seamen. I wasn't being crude. I mean, I am sometimes, but I didn't mean it. Oh my goodness. Guy was a sailor too. I was an airman. Wait, I thought you told me you were in. I thought you was in the Navy. Panay Howard, I thought you said your husband was in the Navy. Oh well. Or Panay Hart, you were in the Air Force. What? I'm confused now. But that poor Sample guy, man, his last name was Sam. That's a shame. That's a shame. Yeah, they were seamen, airmen, and firemen in the Navy. Okay. Before they called me a petty officer. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just teasing you anyway, man. As soon as I said, I'm like, oh wait, that might not sound right. But it is what it is. It is what it is. For E1 E3, yeah, seaman. Yep. Yeah, I actually knew that. Sometimes I just say stuff just to be funny, just to be ignorant. But I'm not totally stupid. I know the differences and stuff like that. But what I don't know is like the rank insignia, because the rank insignia for the Navy, man, it's like the Air Force. The Air Force is semi-close to the Army, but they got all wavy and I don't know. Maybe they were getting woke way back when in the Air Force. I don't know, but anyway, it's all good. Folks, I'm going to close it out now. Thanks for a good live stream, man. I love it when I can laugh and smile and have fun. Oh, we got one more. That guy was really a seaman, though. That guy was looking to be picked on with that last name of his. Yeah, the poor guy. What could he do? What can he do? I mean, it's the way it is. It's like if your last name is Major and you're Major. It's just kind of messed up. Why the parents would do that to people, I don't know. Gino says, bye, Colonel. Have a great day. Bye, Gino. I'm happy you came here. Happy you stuck around for a little bit. I didn't really talk about much, but we had a good time of joking around and whatnot. And I enjoy having a good time. Okay, I put 50 mil in my cars. It's beautiful back super sticky stuff. Yeah. This stuff is, what I got, it ain't the best. But hopefully it's going to help a little bit. But yeah, I know that what I got is not the best out there. But I'm in the Philippines, so I got to make do with what I can do. Panahar or parts. Bad last name for Marines and Army. Yeah, yeah. It's okay. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? All right, folks. I am gonna shut it out for real now. God bless everybody. You know, and I've been adding this. Tell those that you love them, because you just never know when it might be the last time you get to see them, or tell them that you love them. Take care. Be safe. Colonel's out.